Hi, this is Alex from PHP Academy, and in this tutorial we are going to be looking at PayPal IPN. Now, IPN stands for Instant Payment Notification, and this is a feature of PayPal that allows you to specify a link to a page, and in your desired programming language, in this case we're going to be using PHP, you can actually process payments and different variables from your payment to interact with your website. For example, you may have registered on a website and had to make a payment for premium membership, for example. That's the example we're going to be using in this tutorial. You may have had to pay for something which then updates something on your user account with the site that you've paid with. So obviously there's a link here between our page and PayPal, so we need to link our page to PayPal to process a payment. And then from PayPal, we pass variables from PayPal to another page on our web server, which then acts upon that payment and does something to our page, or rather to our database in this case. So that's a brief example of what PayPal IPN is and what it does. But in short, if you are looking to charge your users to access a specific area on your website, or in fact you just want to look at payments and maybe insert records into a database based on a payment, then this tutorial is for you. This is what you're going to essentially do. Now obviously we're working in PHP, but the PayPal IPN is compatible with other languages, so you can use other languages, but obviously in this tutorial we're going to be looking just at PHP. Now this is an example of a login and registration script that I've quickly created that allows a user to log in. For example, we've got a username here and a password here. So if I was to go ahead and type my username in here and then my password in here, now these values match a value, or two values rather, in my database. Now my database looks like this. The database is called IPN, and I have two tables. One's called users, which I store user information, and log, you'll understand a bit later, we're just going to log transaction IDs from PayPal. Now if you already have a database with username and password and you've got it set up so users can log in, don't panic. The only thing you really need to do is add an additional field onto the end of your table called premium, or whatever you want to call it. And like I said, in this tutorial we're going to be focusing on allowing users to purchase premium membership. So we're not going to be talking about shopping cart, anything like that. We're just giving the users an option to click on a PayPal button, make a payment of £8.99, and then this premium value here will be changed to 1. And obviously we need PayPal to pass variables, we need to check them, and then once the payment's complete, this value is updated instantly. We don't need to manually check the payment. We don't need to go ahead and open up our emails and say, okay, so and so has paid this amount, and now we can manually update this value. Our PayPal IPN code is going to do that all for us, and it's going to do it securely, so we're going to make sure that we're paying the correct amount, etc. So all you need to do, if this is the effect that you want to achieve for your website, if you want your user to be premium, then this value here is going to correspond to 1, otherwise 0. So by default this is 0. We're going to be rebuilding this database in a moment when we actually start the tutorial. But here you can see that I've got a user ID which is auto increment. If you want to follow along from scratch, then obviously you're going to need to build the database tables. We have an auto increment, and this is a primary key. You can see it's underlined here. We've got username and password, which are the username is varchar, so variable characters 25, and password is 32. The reason it's 32 is we're storing a 32 character MD5 hash, and that's just a standard form of encryption in PHP that we use with the MD5 function. And then we have this premium here. I've got it set to an int, which is a bit too long because obviously we don't need 11 digits to this. So you could set this to maybe a tiny int or something like that, because you only need one character, which is or digit, which is going to be 1 or 0. So you can see under the default column here, I've got this to default to 0. That's very important. You want to, when you're registering users, you want to make sure this is 0. We don't want to give them premium membership before they've purchased it. The log, as I've already explained roughly, is going to be a log of transactions. In this case, I have a log ID, which is the same primary key, auto increment. Transaction ID is the transaction ID that's processed through PayPal. This is just dummy data in here, it doesn't mean anything, so you can ignore this. And then we're storing the email address that the user paid with. So in this case, this will be blurred out for the purposes of the tutorial because it's not my email address, but this is just an example. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that record. Okay, so the last thing we need to do, I mean, I'll just show you this here first. So we're logging in Alex and we're typing in a password. This is encrypted, but if we go back to our users table, this MD5 hash here corresponds to the value password. It's literally password in text. So I'm just going to click on login. Now you can see that I'm logged in now. We've got a notification here, account type standard. This is checked using a function called isPremium, which we're going to create later on in the tutorial. It says you are logged in, just telling us we're logged in. You can log out if you wish. That just processes a simple script to destroy all sessions. And then we have this button here called Upgrade to Premium, which is extremely important. We're going to be using this as a standard form that PayPal has given to us. It's available somewhere on the PayPal website, but it is available with this other code, this other login and registration code on the forum, on the phpacademy.forum. So if you're looking for the initial code, the initial login and registration code, we're not going to be going through all of that.